Hello, 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 hello. Just make sure it works. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, just make sure it works. Here we go. All right. Peace, everyone. Pray everyone's having a good day. My name is Xavier, and today Khalil will be joining us in a few minutes. But today we'll be picking back up with our daily reading. Yesterday we read Numbers 11 through 14, so we'll be picking up at chapter 15 today. But before that, we will start with how we always do, with our daily proverb. So we'll be picking it up at Proverbs chapter 28. Typically, we do the same day of the month, but since February only has 28 days, we're kind of moving a little bit, read 2 a day. So today we'll be reading 28 and verse 29. But when we get to March, I believe there's 31 days in March. We'll just read 1 a day, like how we typically do. But so we'll start today's reading at Proverbs chapter 28. And here I go, 28 and 1. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion. For the transgression of a land, many are the princes thereof. But by a man of understanding and knowledge, the state thereof shall be prolonged. A poor man that oppresseth the a poor man that oppresseth the poor is like a sweeping rain which leaveneth no food. They that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things. Better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich. Whoso keepeth the law is a wise son, but he that is a companion of riotous men shameth his father. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. He that turneth away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination. Whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit. But the upright shall have good things in possession. The rich man is wise in his own conceit, but the poor that hath understanding searcheth him out. When righteous men do rejoice, there is great glory. But when the wicked rise, a man is hidden. He that covereth his sins shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. Happy is the man that feareth always, but he that hardeneth his heart shall fall into mischief. As a roaring lion and a raging bear, so is the wicked ruler over the poor people. The prince that wanteth understanding is also a great oppressor, but he that hateth covetousness shall prolong his days. A man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit. Let no man stay him. Whoso walketh uprightly shall be saved, but he that is perverse in his ways shall fall at once. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. A faithful man shall abound with blessings, but he that maketh haste to be rich shall not be innocent. To have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. He that hasteth to be rich hath an evil eye, and considereth not that poverty shall come upon him. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find favor. Verse 23. He that rebuketh a man afterwards shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Whoso robbeth his father or his mother, and saith, it is no transgression, the same is the companion of a destroyer. He that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife, but he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat. He that trusteth in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. He that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse. When the wicked rise, men hide themselves. But when they perish, the righteous increase. Boom. The end of chapter 28. There's a lot of good things in this chapter that I like. One being, what does it talk about? We could, verse 9, where it talks about, he that turneth away his ear from the hearing of the law, even his prayer shall be an abomination unto him. Which means he hates your prayer. If you turn away from the law, from hearing the law, being obedient to the law, really, because when you turn away from the law of God, you're turning away from God. Like as we've read through, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and now we're in Numbers, we begin to understand that the law, like when it says the law is the schoolmaster, like the law is God. Like when we begin to serve the Lord and start being obedient to his laws, that's how we join ourselves with him. Like that's how he's our God and we're his people, is by being obedient to the law. And the New Testament really puts that into perspective a lot. Like Paul tells you, So point being, so when we turn ourselves from the law and from the obedience to God, as we've read multiple times over, he'll turn from you. And part of that turning is he hates your prayer. Like you can't even pray to him. He hates you. Like he hates you, he hates your prayer, everything. So that it's just really stressing again the importance of the law. And part of what Paul was telling us is God's laws isn't grievous. It's not just it's not hard to do. It's really actually good for us. Everything he did was good for us. How to treat our neighbors right and things of that nature, how to love them. So, but point being, in order for you to build that relationship with God, start to begin to get understanding, start to begin to get knowledge, wisdom, and get to know God. Like part of the beginning of that is keeping the law. You need to start keeping the law. And then, he'll take care of you. But if you don't, that prayer is an abomination. Verse 13, to me, is a big one. He that covereth his sin shall not prosper, but whoso confesseth and forsaketh them shall have mercy. Like, keep in mind, we're reading the law. And in the law, we read to where if you sin through ignorance, and then you come to understand, oh, I was wrong, you got to confess and then offer your offering to the Lord. And then the priest will make atonement for you for your sin through ignorance, right? But part of that, you had to confess and say, like, oh, I was wrong. I sinned against God. If you didn't do that, and you came to the knowledge and you didn't confess it to the priest and get that sin offering, you would be cut off. The point being, even in the law, it's teaching us, hey, when you do wrong, you need to confess. You need to humble yourself, admit that you were wrong, and confess. But then it says confess and forsake them. Like you got to forsake that sin. Once you come to the knowledge, once you understand, okay, that sin, you need to confess, hey, I was wrong, and you need to leave it. Stop sinning. And then it says, those are the ones that will have mercy. Just like how we read in Exodus 20, and I think it's verse 6, to the thousands of them that keep the commandments. God shows mercy to the thousands of them that keep the commandments. Like this, mercy is for those that keep the law. But Khalil's here. Hello. We just got through reading chapter 28 of Proverbs.
Nice.
But yeah, so we have to be able to be humble and confess our sins. Those are the ones that give mercy, not the ones that hide it and act like they're not doing wrong. Like we talked a little bit a few days ago about evil people justifying their wickedness. Like we can't do that. We have to humble ourselves, correct it, and move forward. Verse verse 7, whoso keepeth the law is wise, son. Oh, verse 8, that's what I was looking for. He that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he shall gather it for him that will pity the poor. And then when you get to verse 21, to have respect of persons is not good, for a piece of bread that man will transgress. Doing things for money. Like he even says in verse 22, he that hasteth to be rich have an evil eye, and consider not the poverty that shall come upon him. Really saying, like, and the New Testament tells you this, the love of money is the root of all evil. So it's the love of money. Obviously not having money, but you will do anything to get money. Like, even here he says to have respect to persons is not good. And we've talked about that before. But it says, like, for a piece of bread, that man will transgress. Like, you will sacrifice your integrity for some money, or you will sacrifice what's right for some money. Part of that, like an example of that being keeping the Sabbath, right? Like you can, the Bible, like we've read, it says, do not work on the Sabbath. Period. Don't do no work. But for some money, some people still work, and that's the problem. Like things of that nature. So we can't let money be our driving force in this world. Money, at the end of the day, is vain. Like, and as we continue to read, it'll keep telling us like it's vain. You can't take it with you. Store your riches up in heaven, and don't really too much trip about the monetary gain in this world, especially not at the cost of your integrity and at the cost of serving God, right? But yeah. Do you have any? I know you just got here. Did you have anything you want to talk about?
Did you look at 23?
No.
He that rebuketh a man afterward shall find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. This even goes back to something that we read, and I believe it was Proverbs 26, where basically the reproof of a friend is better than the praise of like an enemy. Is basically how it phrased it, but to the point that rebuke is a good thing, right? And it's a good thing for anyone who's willing to receive it, and it's also good for the person who's giving it in righteousness, of course, right? Like if I rebuke you or reprove you, which means to tell you that the way that you're going is wrong, and I instruct you in the way of righteousness, which is really all that we've been seeing the Lord do with Israel throughout Exodus and Leviticus. He's giving them their laws and teaching them, hey, the way that you did things, you should be doing it that way, you should be doing it this way. That is a good thing, because if that person listens, you're saving their life, right? You find more favor than he that flattereth with the tongue. Because, what do they call it? People pleasers, stuff of that nature. And it's not a shot directly to them, but it just is to the point that saying the real difficult things is better than just the fake nice things. Because sometimes you need to reprove somebody and have a difficult conversation for their own betterment.
Yeah, what does it say? I'm thinking it's 1 Corinthians chapter 12, where it talks about charity. Or not even that, but where Paul tells you to have unfeigned love for your brethren. And that means not fake. Feigned means fake. So when it says unfeigned, don't show fake love. And to your point, that's what this is. Just flattering with the tongue, or somebody's wrong, you showing fake love. Real love is, like we read before, where God will punish us for our wrong. That's real love. He rebuketh those that he loves. So real love is, nah, bro, you wrong. And try to, like you said, reprove.
To lead them the right way, because it's for their own benefit at the end of the day. As it even goes back to spare the rod, spoil the child, that kind of stuff, where it may not be something you like doing, but you understand it's for the benefit of that person at the end of the day, and that's really what matters.
Verse 25 is cool. We read only by pride cometh contention, right? Yeah. Verse 25. Only he that is of a proud heart stirreth up strife. Problems come from that pride. But he that putteth his trust in the Lord shall be made fat, taken care of. But that's all I got on this. What you
There are a few things, but a man that doeth, like 17, man that doeth violence to the blood of any person shall flee to the pit, let no man stay him. Where, like, there is always an end for, like, wickedness. I guess that's the best way I could put it. Just no matter what people think they may get away with, they'll always end up being judged by the Lord, right? Whether it's things that we would deem small, like lies, or some things that we would deem large, like murder, right? At the end of the day, the Lord's always going to be the one who judges. And even this verse also reminds me about, I think it was in chapter 25 of Proverbs, where a man who digs a pit will fall into it. A man who makes a ditch will trip into it. All to the point that the wickedness that we do in this life will always come to head. Either we'll face the punishment in this life, or we'll face it in the next. But eventually, everything that we do will end up coming upon our own heads, whether it's good or bad.
You was getting that from verse 10?
From verse 10? No, I was looking at 17, but whoso causeth the righteous to go astray in evil way shall fall himself in his own pit. The upright shall have good things in possession. No, I mean, that fits too. I was thinking of a verse from like a few chapters back. But like, it's the same thing, yeah.
It reminds me of that saying that we have. Man, it's kind of cool. Most sayings we have, well, not most, but a few of them, many of them come from the Bible itself. But, he dug his own pit, or he dug his own grave. Like, he got what was coming to him. So, yeah. That's all I got, though.
Cool. Want me to read 29?
Yeah, feel free.
Alright, cool. 29, verse 1. He that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. And when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Whoso loveth wisdom rejoiceth his father. But he that keepeth company with harlots spendeth his substance. The king by judgment established the land, but he that receiveth gifts overthroweth it. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net for his feet. And the transgression of an evil man there is a snare, but the righteous doth sing and rejoice. Excuse me. 7. The righteous considereth the cause of the poor, but the wicked regard not to know it. Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise men turn away wrath. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. The bloodthirsty hate the upright, but the just seek his soul. A fool uttereth all his mind, but the wise keepeth it in till afterwards. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked. The poor and the deceitful man meet together. The Lord lieth both their eyes. The king that faithfully judgeth the poor, his throne shall be established forever. The rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. When the wicked are multiplied, transgression increaseth, but the righteous shall see their fall. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. A servant will not be corrected by words, for though he understand, he will not answer. Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him. He that delicately bringeth up his servant from a child shall have him become his son at the length. An angry man stirreth up strife, and a furious man aboundeth in transgression. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall hold the humble in spirit. Whoso is partnered with a thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing, and bewrayeth it not. The fear of man bringeth a snare, but whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be saved. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. An unjust man is an abomination to the just, and he that is upright in the way is abomination to the wicked.
Good read, man.
I like 26. Many seek the ruler's favor, but every man's judgment comes from the Lord. Or even in two ways. And it goes to like the respect of persons thing that we've talked a bit about, where like the rich have many friends, but the poor, like who loves them? Where to the point everyone looks look kindly upon people who are doing well, upon the kings, upon the rich, so on and so forth. But obviously, we should not have that same respect for persons. But to the point that is being made here, many seek the ruler's favor. Everyone wants to be on the good side of the king, or of, like, if you put it today, of like the president, or like kings that run the country, right? The princes, your governors, your mayors, whatever, right? Or just any rich person, your billionaires, people with power in general, right? But, like he makes the point, but every man's judgment cometh from the Lord. So the judgment being in two ways, where, of course, the end of the matter, it doesn't matter how close you get to the billionaires and the presidents and kings of this time, or any time, because the Lord is the one who's ultimately going to decide your fate, right? Whether you go to the kingdom or you go to the lake of fire, He's the one who decides. But even just within this life, where if you have favor with the king, but the Lord wants you to go to prison, you're going to go to prison. Whatever happens to you in this life, regardless of whatever man is here, if the Lord desires it to be that way, if it's His judgment that this is to happen to you, or this is how things are going to play out, it doesn't matter really what you do, who you're friends with, like the people in high places that like you bump shoulders with, it doesn't matter. Because the Lord is the one who has the judgment of man in all things. So that's like a nice reminder in both ways, this life and the next.
I like verse 11 and 22. And 20 says, "A fool uttereth all his mind, but a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards." And in verse 20, "Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words? There is more hope of a fool than of him." What is it? James chapter 1, I believe, where it talks about the mouth is an unruly evil, things of that nature. And Solomon himself, he's talked a lot about how the mouth can kill you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't know how to control your mouth and control your words and have control over your emotions, which we talked about before, you could suffer for that. Like, it don't matter how much you keep the Sabbath. You know what I mean? If you can't control your mouth, it's not looking good for you. The point being, he even says here, "Seest thou a man that is hasty in his words," like just quick to just talk? There is more hope of a fool than of him. Like, a fool has a better chance than he does. Point being, that's something we need to take seriously in learning how to be quiet, learning how to stop talking, learning how to, like in verse 11 says, "But a wise man keepeth it in till afterwards." Like, so be quiet. Sometimes you don't even have to talk. So, or a lot of times you don't even have to talk. You just talk to talk, really. And really, a lot of the times we don't understand, but when we start talking and like even like we could be complaining and murmuring, like we be complaining and murmuring against God and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Or don't even like think about it, just complaining. Instead of like giving God the glory and being content with where you're at or what's going on. But like, so it's just something to think about as we talk. What are you saying? Verse 18, "Where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he." This is probably one of my favorite verses in the Bible, because it's real game. You know what I mean? Like, you talk to anybody, they tell you to set goals. Like, what are your goals? Because it gives you a game plan to make it to where your vision is at and things of that nature. But he says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Like, if you don't have no vision, if you don't have a direction in what you want to do, then you don't end up anywhere really. But really, spiritually, the question is, what's your goal? Like, what's your vision in this life? What's your goal for this life? Ecclesiastes 12:13 tells us the whole duty of man is to fear God and keep His commandments. But point being, our goal should be making it to the kingdom and not burning for eternity in the lake of fire. So then if that's the goal, then how do we accomplish that? Things of that nature. But yeah, we need to have a vision, a goal.
think even 9 goes to your point just about speaking. If a wise man contendeth with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, there is no rest. Where it even goes to like, I think this is Proverbs 25 or maybe 24, answer not a fool in his folly. Where it's one of those things where only by pride comes contention, right? Where sometimes you just have to let stuff go. That's the best way I can really put it, right? Where the foolish, right? In broad terms, they will not, like we've read so many times in Proverbs, they will not hear reproof. They don't like hearing correction. They don't like hearing the judgment of God. And like even like you said, 20, seest thou a man that's hasting his words, there's more hope of a fool than him. And then 11, a fool uttereth all his mind. Like, and they're going to talk a lot. So the point being is that, like, we like to always put something like, oh, well, I have to, like, win, right? Or I have to, like, win the interaction or win the argument. When really, you win by not being a part of it, right? Because at the end of the day, you're just engaging with more foolishness. And you're, like, even, like, the book says, cast not your pearls among swine. Where just sometimes it's just like you let it go. And that comes from you being humble as well. Where you just have to really think about, well, why is it important that I win this? Sometimes like people will even like compare this to like when preaching the gospel, right? Where, oh, well, like I want to make sure the person gets it. It's up to the Lord whether someone gets the word of God, right? It says one man plants, another waters. God gives the increase, right? Whether someone understands in the time in which they do understand, if they do, is all up to the Lord. It's not up to any one of us. And talking more to a person who like, and I mean arguing more and more with them that simply does not understand, is not going to just make them understand. The Lord has to reveal those things to them. Where it works in pretty much any conversation you're having. You just have to let go of your pride and walk in humility. Just know, like, hey, like this is not something to win. This is something that is supposed to be used for like edification, for edifying.
Mm-hmm. I like how you brought up pride, because that's really what it like, the fact that you gotta win.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. But understand the goal. Like, if the goal is to spread the gospel, the Bible says His word doesn't return unto Him void. So, like you were saying, it's not your job. Like, they don't have to leave their understanding exactly what you're saying. The point of the mission is to get the information out there, and God will use that information to whatever He wants it to be used for, right? But your job is just to put it out there. It don't matter, like, you argue for what? Argue 30, 45 minutes for what? Hey, man, hey, you read the Bible say keep the Sabbath, blah, blah, blah. It's on the 7th day. Like, your job is to put the information in the world, and God will use it however He wants to use it, you know? Mm-hmm. His word doesn't return void. Verse 24. Whoso is partner with the thief hateth his own soul. He heareth cursing and he reigneth not. I really just, because we talked about it a lot, but being unequally yoked, says whoso is partner with the thief. And we brought up Romans 1 so many times where it says not only those that do wrong, but have pleasure in them that do them. Like, that should not be a partner. A person that's sinning, you shouldn't be kicking it with them. But I really want to look up this word. Oh, reveal. He heareth cursing and reveal it not. Yeah, but Whole point being, like, remove yourself. We've talked about it a lot. Remove yourself and get away from people that aren't trying to serve God like you are. Mm-hmm. To reveal it disclosed. But that's all I got, bro.
I don't have much to say about 29 either.
Oh, verse 1. He that being often reproved, he that being often reproved, hard as the neck, shall surely be destroyed, and that without remedy, like without healing. You could talk about that one.
I feel like it's like self-explanatory for the most part, especially what we just talked about in terms of like the fool not wanting to hear reproof and stuff of that nature. Like someone, and this can happen to us too, and like us, I mean, whoever's listening, Christians, whatever may have you, but I just don't want to make sure that we don't always try to be like, oh, well, the other people do that. No, all of us could do all of these things, right? Which is why it's important that we read it so we can examine ourselves and see ourselves in the book. But point being, it can happen to us where we can almost sometimes feel like we're getting beat up because we're getting often reproved about things or matters. And because of which we get hard in his neck, or which means it's the same way as like we've been reading Exodus, Pharaoh's heart was hardened, or the Lord in like Leviticus and so far in Numbers calling Israel, even in Exodus too, a stiff-necked people, or just mean you're stubborn, or you don't listen. So because you're often reproved, you harden your neck. Now you want to hear what anyone has to say about you, or reproof, or what may have you, and the end of that will be your own destruction, and that without remedy. Because again, reproof is a good thing. Even if you were to take the point that like, oh, the reproof the person is giving me is wrong, right? Well, there's a really good example of that in the Bible, being Job. Job was being reproved by his friends, them telling him he must have done something against the Lord, and that's why he had faced all the hardship that he did. That was not true at all. Job had done nothing. The Lord had only done it to like test Job. And the whole time, Job justified himself, saying like, no, I didn't do anything. I couldn't have done anything, so on and so forth. And at the end of it, he was so caught in his pride, he never considered whether he did do something against the Lord. And because of that, like he had gotten his pride and said some things like that were off, and like in his pride said some things almost not quite against the Lord, but justifying himself rather than God. Being like, well, no, this happened to me for no reason, like, God did this to me and I did no wrong, and so on and so forth. And the Lord had to basically be like, oh, Job, hold on, slow your roll. Like, you didn't do anything, you're not wrong, but you're almost making it, trying to seem like I did something wrong. Where I'm God, I can do whatever I want, however I want. And it's all in righteousness. Like in that, I'm not, like, I didn't do this, like, against you for wicked reasons, or like, you basically humble yourself, you don't know the matter. And his whole point being is that Job, you never considered whether you did sin. And that was literally one of the morals of the story of Job, is that even though he was right, he didn't consider, he didn't humble himself and consider, maybe I did do something wrong. So in the same way, that even though their proof was wrong, Job was wrong for not at least listening to it to a little, not humbling himself and taking it into account, going, maybe I did do something wrong. Let me pray to the Lord. Let me fast. Let me figure it out. Maybe I did do something. Because it's possible. It's very easy to sin on accident. You accidentally eat something unclean. You you lie, you speak on the matter, you shouldn't. Any form of God, like so many ways. It's fairly easy to sin on accident and not know it. Not know that you did it. Right? So, but in that same way, it worked for Job, it works for us. Where you never really know, God doesn't come down from the sky nowadays and tells us whether someone's reproof against us was true or not. So, no matter what reproof we've received, we all should self-examine and take that to heart and take that into account. Maybe that person is right. Let me look within myself. Have I been more arrogant? Because that's what they told me. Let me see. Have I been arrogant lately? Or they say I said something against someone and it offended them. It's like, oh, well, let me see if that is the case, and so on and so forth. It costs nothing to be humble and to check. It costs nothing to self-examine, and it can cost you everything to not do it. So yeah. That's all I gotta say about verse 1.
That's good, bro. Well, that being said, we can turn to our numbers. We're at numbers 15 today.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow we'll finish. Tomorrow will be what, the 27th? We'll finish Proverbs and pick it back up at chapter 1 at the beginning of March, which is Sunday, right?
Yes.
Excuse me.
That's it.
Numbers chapter 15 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land of your habitations, which I give unto you, and will make a burnt offering by fire unto the Lord, a burnt offering, or a sacrifice in performing a vow, or in a free will offering, or in your solemn feast, to make a sweet savor unto the Lord, of the herd, or of the flock. Then shall he that offereth this offering unto the Lord bring a meat offering of a 10th deal of flour, mingled with the 4th part of an hin of oil, and the 4th part of an hin of wine for a drink offering shalt thou prepare with the burnt offering or sacrifice for 1 lamb, or for a ram. Thou shalt prepare for a meat offering 2 10th deals of flour, mingled with the 3rd part of an hin of oil. And for the drink offering thou shalt offer the 3rd part of an hin of wine, for a sweet savor unto the Lord. And when thou preparest a bullock for a burnt offering, or for a sacrifice in performing a vow, or peace offering unto the Lord, then shall he bring with the bullock a meat offering of 3 10th deals of flour, mingled with half an hin of oil. And thou shalt bring for a drink offering half an hin of wine, for an offering made by fire of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Thus shall it be done for 1 bullock, or for 1 ram, or for a lamb, or a kid, according to the number that ye shall prepare. So shall ye do to every one according to their number. All that are born of the country shall do these things after this manner, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. And if a stranger sojourn with you, or whosoever be among you in your generations, and will offer an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord, as ye do, so shall he do. 1 ordinance shall be for both you of the congregation, and also for the stranger that sojourneth with you. An ordinance forever in your generations, as ye are, so shall the stranger be before the Lord. 1 law and 1 manner shall be for you, and for the stranger that sojourneth with you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye come into the land whither I bring you, then it shall be that when ye eat of the bread of the land, ye shall offer an heave offering unto the Lord. Ye shall offer up a cake of the first of your dough for an heave offering. As ye do the heave offering of the threshing floor, so shall ye heave it. Of the first of your dough ye shall give unto the Lord an heave offering in your generations. And if ye have erred, and not observed all the commandments which the Lord hath spoken unto Moses, even all that the Lord hath commanded you by the hand of Moses, from the day that the Lord commanded Moses, and henceforth among your generations, then it shall be, if aught be committed by ignorance without the knowledge of the congregation, that all the congregation shall offer 1 young bullock for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor unto the Lord, with his meat offering and his drink offering according to the manner, and 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for all the congregation of the children of Israel, and it shall be forgiven them, for it is ignorance. And they shall bring their offering, a sacrifice made by fire unto the Lord, and their sin offering before the Lord, for their ignorance. And it shall be forgiven all the congregation of the children of Israel, and the stranger that sojourneth among them, seeing all the people were in ignorance. And if any soul sin through ignorance, then he shall bring a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for the soul that sinneth ignorantly, when he sinneth by ignorance before the Lord, to make an atonement for him, and it shall be forgiven. You shall have 1 law for him that sinneth through ignorance, both for him that is born among the children of Israel, and for the stranger that sojourneth among them. But the soul that do aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproacheth the Lord, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people, because he hath despised the word of the Lord, and hath broken his commandment. That soul shall utterly be cut off. His iniquity shall be upon him. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man that gathered sticks upon the Sabbath day. And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and unto all the congregation. And they put him in ward. And because it was not declared what should be done unto him, and the Lord said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp. And all the congregation brought him without the camp, and stoned him with stones, and he died, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord said unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in their borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringes of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that you may look upon it, and remember all the commandments of the Lord, and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart and your own eyes, after which ye used to go whoring, that ye may remember and do all my commandments, and be holy unto your God. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord your God. The end.
Good reading.
The big thing is with this chapter, he was giving instruction on when they get to the land, how to do their burnt offering, sin offering, things of that nature. But one of the biggest things like that I get from this chapter is, of course, let me see, where it talks about how not only you in the camp or the congregation, but the stranger that sojourn among you, these rules apply to them too. And it all just goes back to us being in Exodus 19 that we read, a kingdom of priests among the nations. Like, again, our job was to preach to all the other nations so that they can earn their salvation as well. Like, that was always the goal for Israel. And you see it here, like, yes, the people that were dwelling, the stranger, quote unquote strangers, they were supposed to be keeping the same laws that we kept. So when people say, oh, these were the laws of the Jews or things of that nature, no, these were the laws of the people. He just gave it to Israel to give to all the other nations so that they can keep the law and earn their salvation as well, right? Yeah. And we see that a lot, right? Where it talks about where is it at, man?
Who are you referring to?
I'm talking about where it verse 14, and for strangers sojourn amongst you.
Oh, yeah.
Or whosoever be amongst you, as ye do, so shall he do. One ordinance shall be for both for you, the congregation, and also for the strangers that sojourn among you. And in verse 16, one law and one manner shall be for you, and for the strangers that sojourn with you. Like, it's one law. What is I believe Paul says it, but there is no private interpretation, or there's no I serve God my way and you serve God your way. No, there's one way, one law for all people, right? And that's what he's giving us here. But outside of that, what you got?
Like verse 30, but the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, whether he be born in the land or a stranger, the same reproach of the Lord, and that soul should be cut off from among his people. Where even like in like the 29 that you read, all these offerings and whatnot were to save and to be an atonement for people who sin in ignorance. Because like I said before, very easy to sin on accident, right? But I said the soul that doeth aught presumptuously, which means you did it on purpose. Like, knowing what you were doing. You just chose to do it. Like, you knew the law of the Lord, and you were aware while you're doing it, the thing was against the Lord's law, and you just do it, there's no, as Hebrews 10:26 says, there's no more sacrifice for sin. And that it literally says the same thing there if someone like willfully sins, right? And it says for anyone, whether you be born in the land or Israel or a stranger, so anyone else, the same reproach to the Lord, right? You've done wickedness against him, and that soul shall be cut off from among his people. Cut off meant kill. Cut off from among his people, that means like you would be killed, right? And that even shows that like the Lord was merciful, but the Lord wasn't just down with people just not listening. Like never has been, right? Right, even when we get to like the New Testament, Jesus makes it very clear. Well, if you want to get to the Father, you have to go through me. Like you have to accept me. There is no if, ands, or buts about that, right? And that's fairly well understood, right? And it's the same way even like with His law. Whereas like, I understand if you make mistakes, I understand if you don't know, but you can't just like know and then just not do it and expect me to just be like, oh, okay, cool. The same way you can't just be like, oh, I know Jesus, I just don't accept or like Jesus, but I want to get to the Father. It's like, well, no, that's just not how that works. And it's the same way. And even a good example they get for you right here, man picking up mistakes on the Sabbath. We'll think that's something small. We'll think that's like, oh, that ain't nothing. But the Lord very clearly told him that you're not supposed to work or do anything on this Sabbath. So, they killed him.
That's kind of what we was talking about in the Proverbs chapter 28, where it said, to he that concealeth, basically perish, but he that confesseth and forsake his sins, will it be that is saved. Point being, that's really what he was just talking about. Like, you gotta confess and forsake your sin. Like leave it and stop doing it. Because like we just read, you do it presumptuously or really not even on purpose for sure, but after you know that it's wrong and you keep doing it. You know what I mean? That's presumptuously, and that's like when you're gonna die. So we I just wanted to bring that back up, saying confess and forsake. Like once you know that something is wrong, stop doing it. Because you will die for it.
Yeah.
Whether in this life or in the next. I mean, well, for sure in the next. You know what I'm saying? We sin, we'll die for it. So.
I mean, even to your point, the guy picking up sticks, I'm not saying this was 100% the case because, like, if you can't read it, like, it's like, don't believe it. Like, we're stick to what the book says. But even at this point, we've seen so many times the Lord go over the Sabbath with them over and over and over and over again. When they were given manna, and they were people trying to pick it up on the seventh day, it was like, you guys shouldn't be doing this. Then we see it again and again. The Lord, at this point, the Sabbath is known, right? The Lord has beat it into their heads. This is like past the second year that they've been in the wilderness, that they've been traveling. We don't know the exact year at this specific point in time, but remember, like a few chapters ago, they gave us the dates of like it's been over, like it's been more than a year. So, but still to the point that at this point, they should be more so familiar with the Sabbath. So even this guy doing it, it's like, well, there's a very good chance. Again, I'm not going to say it for certain, right? Because it doesn't say it here. But there's a very good chance that he knew the Sabbath and knew what he was doing. Because, like I said, at this point, so many times over, Moses had told them about the Sabbath and even reproved them because they had broken the Sabbath.
Mm-hmm. And just to your point about how it's something small, right? Like I used to get told all the time, oh, I won't die for eating this. You think God's going to kill me for eating this piece of bacon? It doesn't matter what you think about it. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter how small it seems to you. The point is, God said don't do it. And it's really just like I want to put it in terms that we can kind of relate to in life. Like, if you got children or something, and you tell them don't do something, and they do it, like, it don't matter if you told them, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
If you gave them, like, many reasons. It's like, well, I told you to do it.
Right.
I shouldn't have to give you 15 reasons why.
Exactly. Or if it was something that really, like, it doesn't, you might, the child might think it don't matter. Oh, she said, like, I need to dry off the dishes before I put them up or something. And, like, they don't understand, so they just gonna put them up. Like, just do it. Just do what you told. Like, you as a parent, you would be upset because you told them a certain way to do it, and they didn't do it. They tried to cut corners, because that's what it looks like. You're cutting corners. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do what God tells you to do, the way He tells you to do it, how He tells you to do it, when He tells you to do it, and you will be just fine. And it's real. It's not as simple as you people may think. But anyway, that's all I got, bro.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I have nothing else about 15. Alright, we ready for number 16?
Yeah.
Alright, number 16 and 1. Now Korah the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. So we have Korah. He's one of the sons of Kohath. Remember, the Kohathites, they were the ones responsible for taking up the holy items of the Lord after the priest had covered them. 2. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, Ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. So basically, Korah and the people are coming up at him like, hey, why are you guys making yourselves greater and more holier than everyone else? We're all holy here. We all serve God. So what makes you guys so special that you're putting yourselves above everyone?
And just real quick, they didn't nobody put themselves like that.
Right, yeah.
Like,
very clearly.
Yeah, understand when you are doing what thus says the Lord, and someone has a problem with what's going on, they don't have a problem with you, they have a problem with God and what He's ordained.
Yeah.
Right? Like when First Samuel, when Samuel was so mad that the people wanted a king, he was like, bro, why you mad? They transgressing against me, not you.
Yeah.
Point being, like, understand that. But and keep in mind, and we just read in Numbers 12 where he literally said, when I have prophets, I'm gonna come to them in dreams, things of that nature. But Moses is not so. Like, I spoke with Moses face to face. Point being, that's what they're talking against right now.
Right.
Like it says, he was the meekest man in the world, but God put him in that position, not himself. You know what I'm saying?
And then even, like, we already saw what happened to someone who spoke against Moses, and that was his own sister, Miriam, and she became a leper.
Oh, but my bad.
No, absolutely. Verse 4. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. He spake unto Korah and to all his company, saying, Even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who's holy, and will cause him to come near unto him. Even him who he had chosen will he cause to come near unto him. So he's like, the Lord will make it clear whom the Lord has chosen. This do, take you censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense to them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord doth choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. So now he's like flipped it on. Like, all right, we'll take up your censers. Oh, like the Lord will choose it who are his. You're saying I've taken too much upon me. You have taken too much upon you, you sons of Levi. 8. And Moses said to Korah, Hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi, seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the God of Israel hath separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation and minister unto them? Because, like, the Levites were chosen. Like the Lord said, I've taken Levi instead of the firstborn. Where they were set apart, and they did have a special job. So it's like, you guys have been given so much from the Lord, and was it not enough? 10. And he hath brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And seek ye the priesthood also? I said, but you guys also want the priesthood? Like how much more do you guys really want? For which cause both thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord. And what is Aaron? They murmur against him. Because, like to your point, makes it clear here. Who are they come up against? The Lord. Because the Lord is the one who chose Aaron and his seed to be the priests. And the Lord is the one who chose Moses to be Moses. Right? To be that person that speaks with him face to face. 12. And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that flowed with milk and honey, to kill us in the wilderness, except thou make thyself altogether a prince over us? So now even here we have these two dudes speaking against Moses too. We're there in the beginning. These are two Reubenites of the sons of Reuben. But they're basically like, hey, why should we come up against you? You're going to get us killed here in this wilderness, and you're making yourself a prince among us. The same thing Korah's saying. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that flowed with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. And this is even crazier. They're complaining you haven't brought us up to the land. In Numbers 13 and 14, the reason y'all didn't go up to the land is because y'all were too scared to go up and fight. And you're complaining, and God told you that hey, because you guys are too scared, I'm gonna have all of you are gonna come and die in this wilderness. You're gonna be stuck in this wilderness for 40 years. But now you're complaining to Moses, well, why didn't you deliver us up there? He brought you there. You just didn't want to go because you were scared. So what are you mad about? But it also shows delusion and pride too, right? And Moses was very wroth and said to the Lord, respect not thou their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said to Korah, be thou and all thy company before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron tomorrow, and take every man his censer, and put incense in them, and bring ye before the Lord every man his censer, 250 censers, thou also, and Aaron each of you his censer. And they took every man his censer, and put fire in them, and laid incense thereon, and stood in the door of the tabernacle of the congregation with Moses and Aaron. And Korah gathered all the congregation against them unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the glory of the Lord appeared unto all the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, separate yourselves from among this congregation, that I may consume them in a moment. Because the congregation has kind of started to go with Korah. So the Lord, again, this is the third time this is happening. All right, you guys scoot over here. I'm going to just kill them all. Well, let's see what Moses and Aaron do. 22. And they fell upon their faces and said, O God, the God, the spirits of all flesh, shall one man sin? And wilt thou be wroth with all the congregation? They're like, Lord, wait, no. This is just on Korah. This dude, don't kill everybody. They're being real leaders. They're interceding for the people, even if the people aren't with them right now. 23. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the congregation, saying, get you up from about the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram. And Moses rose up and went to Dathan and Abiram, and the elders of Israel followed him. And he spake unto the congregation, saying, depart, I pray you, from the tents of these wicked men, and touch nothing of theirs, lest ye be consumed in all their sins. So he's warning them, hey, get away from these dudes. So they gathered up from the tabernacle of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram on every side. And Dathan and Abiram came out, and stood in the door of their tents, and their wives, and their sons, and their little children. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Lord hath sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of mine own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord hath not sent me. So it's if they die in a normal way, then the Lord has not given me this position, this power. The Lord hath not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth, and swallow them up with all that appertaineth to them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Lord. So if the earth swallows them up, then you'll know they spoke against the Lord, not even me, because the Lord has set all this in motion. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, so it opened up. And the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed up upon them, and perished from among the congregation. So the earth opened, swallowed them all up, and closed back. And they closed back.
But just like when it says all them, look what it say. It say, in openness, in verse 32, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up and their houses and all the men that appertained unto Korah. So it wasn't like, I know you were saying, but like connect. Like I just looked up what appertain meant. Yeah. It means connected with, belong to, or like, so like the people that were rocking with him. In other words, it wasn't like not just Korah, but the people that were rocking with him.
Yes.
So I just want to throw that out there.
I mean, to the point. Yeah, because like Lord, Moses had warned the people, and some of them left. But some of them stayed with Korah. And those people who were still there, I mean, they got swallowed up right along with them. And that's why Moses warned them in the first place. Because if you're with Korah, you're going to get swallowed up too. You're going to die.
No.
33. And they and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed up upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out fire from the Lord and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. They even killed all these other dudes too that went along with it. Because remember, the incense was a part of the whole thing of like, well, deciding who it is. But the Lord's already made it clear it was Aaron and his sons. 36. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burden, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hollow. The censers of these sinners against their own souls. Let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar. For they offer them before the Lord, therefore they are hollow, and they shall be assigned to the children of Israel. And Eleazar the priest took the brazen censers, wherewith they that were burnt had offered. And they were made broad plates for a covering of the altar. So now the censers that they had made and like used to offer, they made into plates to cover the altar. Like almost as a reminder of like, hey, like, don't do this again. To be a memorial unto the children of Israel, that no stranger, which is not the seed of Aaron, come near to offer incense before the Lord. They be not as Korah, and as his company, as the Lord said to him by the hand of Moses. So it's like, it makes it very clear, if you're not of the seed of Aaron, you can't do the priestly job, because you're just not a priest. You can't be one. But on the morrow, all the congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and against Aaron, saying, you have killed the people of the Lord. So now it's the next day, and the whole congregation is coming up. Again, they made it as clear as day that the Lord had chosen Aaron and not Korah, but still the people, and like to your point again, like clinging to enjoy, because like in any form of common sense, you'd be like, okay, that wasn't the guy.
We just read who's partnered with the thief.
Right. But like, because you are partnered with the thief, your own judgment is wrong too, because you're trying to go along with what they're doing.
Loyalty.
And like, now they're just looking stupid. But like, we'll even see like how it plays out, because obviously it's not going to go well for them. We saw how the other people who side with Korah, how it ended for them. But like, we'll see how it ends for these people too. 42. And it came to pass when the congregation was gathered against Moses and against Aaron, that they looked toward the tabernacle of the congregation, and behold, a cloud covered it, and the glory of the Lord appeared. And Moses and Aaron came before the tabernacle of the congregation. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, get you up from among this congregation, that I may consume them as in a moment. And they fell upon their faces. So the same thing happened again. So the Lord's like, hey, get you up, I'm going to kill them all, and they fall upon their faces the same way, like, Lord, please don't. 46. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a censer and put fire therein from off the altar, and put on incense, and go quickly into the congregation, and make an atonement for them. For there is wrath gone out from the Lord, and the plague is begun. So the Lord started putting a plague onto the people, and Moses like, hurry up, Aaron, offer up some incense to be an atonement for them, so the Lord doesn't just kill them all. And Aaron took, as Moses commanded, and ran to the midst of the congregation. And behold, the plague was begun among the people. And they put on incense, and made an atonement for the people. They stood between the dead and the living, and the plague was stayed. And now they that died in the plague were 14,700, beside them that died about the matter of Korah. And Aaron returned unto Moses unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the plague was stayed. And here again, like, Aaron and Moses being good intercessors, where you see Aaron literally runs between the dead and the living to like make the atonement for them. And like over 14,000 people died here. Almost 15,000 people died. Not even counting the previous stuff with like Korah.
Mm-hmm.
But they all died because they wanted to rock with Korah, I suppose.
It's kind of funny, and I kind of laughed at it, but it's not funny though. But it's funny because in like verse 41, they started getting mad at Moses, and they're talking about, you've killed the people of the Lord. You get what I'm saying? And that just went back to loyal, like I threw out the term loyalty, and I think in this world, like it's kind of pushed, like, oh, you gotta be real, oh, you gotta be loyal, all this type. Man, your loyalty needs to be to God, right? Like, shouldn't nobody be able to come in between that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people's loyalty was to Korah. And you know what I'm saying? That can't be us. We can't be loyal to a person instead of more so than God. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just think that's where they feel. But for them to be so kind of like confused, to be like, you killed the people of the Lord in Korah, it's kind of funny to me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I mean, but it's one of those things where, like the book talks about too, justify man rather than God. Where in so many ways, like to your point of like loyalty, it's the same thing, right? But there are definitely times where we will honor what a person has to say above what God has to say, right? Whether it's in like matters of judgment, like, oh, what should I do this thing or should I not do this thing, right? Where we will ask advice of like our friends or colleagues or parents or whoever, right? But we won't go to God with the matter, when really we always should. Or even just in the sense of like what the Bible says, right? In so many ways, the Bible is very clear about what the Lord wants, what the Lord requires of us, how He wants things done, so on and so forth. And even gives so many examples of said things. But sometimes people will just say differently. And we will follow what the person has to say. Because we will believe that person the same way that the Israelites believed Korah had like wisdom or understanding or notoriety. And that like, oh, well, what they say must be the truth. When really we all already have the truth. And it's just what the Bible says. Right? It doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what David says. It doesn't matter what anyone else says. The Bible is the... what's the word I'm looking for? Foundation, which it is, but it is the truth. I can't think of another word besides truth. It is just the set standard, right? Anything that's outside of what this says, it is just not true. It is the truth, and everything else outside of this is a lie. Anything that goes against this. That's all I gotta say about Korah. I mean, I feel like it's just a really good example of just, those two things. Getting caught in your own pride and not just staying, like being unappreciative of the things you've been given. Because remember, he was a Levite, a Kohathite more specifically, so he got to deal with the most holy items. Like the Gershonites got the I believe, like the cloths of like the tent, while the Merarites got like the pillars, or I may have that switched, but the point being, the Kohathites got like the most special things though. Like very specifically. They got the Ark of the Covenant and the vessels and the altar and stuff like that. Granted, they couldn't touch them directly, they had to get covered. Specifically because they were not the priests, right? But they had a very, very special job. But like Korah, it just wasn't enough for him. He wasn't grateful. He wasn't humble. He thought he deserved more. And he thought he should be equal unto Aaron and Aaron's sons. And he saw no reason for why that wasn't the case. Not almost really. No, it does remind me of Satan.
That was just, I hate when you do that. But go ahead, bro.
No, that was it. It just reminds me of Satan. It's the same way. Satan believed he should have, like, I should be God. I'm the same. Like, there's no reason why, like, he can be this and I can't. I should be God.
Mm-hmm.
And he just wasn't, right? He got beat by Michael.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, man, the Lord's gonna prevail always.
Yeah.
Like you can't beat him. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I can't remember what we was talking about earlier, but I was like, when you're on the Lord's side, I was talking about people like attacking you, like acting like you doing wrong or you tripping, like how he was doing Moses. Like Moses put himself in the seat. Like, nah, this is God. God ordained this. Like, that's why, even when we was talking about answering our fool according to his folly, I don't feel like you say like, oh, because I say, or the Bible says, we need to keep the law. You know what I'm saying? Now, I miss, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to take offense to that because I'm just doing what the Lord tell me to do. You know what I'm saying? It's not you're not attacking me, So, but yeah. But at the end of the day, God's going to prevail. So make sure you're on his side and not on the same side of Korah, on the same side of Satan. Because like you brought up, they're the exact same story, literally. What you got to say, man?
Yeah, that's all I got to say.
Dang, man, 14,000 people died. That's crazy.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Yeah, that's super crazy. But chapter 17, verse 1, you good?
Yeah.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and take every one of them a rod according to the house of their fathers. Of all the princes according to the house of their fathers, 12 rods. Write thou every man's name upon his rod. And thou shalt write Aaron's name upon the rod of Levi. For one rod shall be for the head of the house of their fathers. And thou shalt lay them up in the tabernacle of the congregation before the testimony, where I will meet with you. And it shall come to pass that the man's rod, whom I shall choose, shall blossom. And I will make to cease from me the murmuring of the children of Israel, whereby they murmur against you. So it's almost like he's re-showing the people, like, I God am choosing this. And so they're taking the rods, putting the names on it, and he says, whichever rod blossoms, that's who I choose, right? Verse 6. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel, and every one of their princes gave him a rod apiece, for each prince one, according to their father's house, even 12 rods. And the rod of Aaron was among their rods. And Moses laid up the rods before the Lord in the tabernacle of witness. And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the house of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds, and bloomed blossoms, and yielded almonds. And Moses brought out all the rods before the Lord unto the children of Israel, and they looked and took every man his rod. So, of course, he walks back the next day. Aaron's rod is the one that buds, right? It says brought forth almonds, blossoms, and it budded, right? Verse 10. And the Lord said unto Moses, Bring Aaron's rod again before the testimony, to be kept for a token against rebels. And thou shalt quite take away their murmurings from me, that they die not. And Moses did so as the Lord commanded him, so did he. And the children of Israel spake unto Moses, saying, Behold, we die, we perish, we all perish. Whosoever cometh anything near unto the tabernacle of the Lord shall die. Shall we be consumed without dying? The end of chapter 17.
Yeah. It's one of those insane things. And like you see the Lord do it so many times throughout the Bible. But just the Lord essentially having to prove what he said again. Because Israel is like an example for, I feel like the world as a whole at times just lacked faith in God. Like they just didn't believe what he had said. So, like, the Lord, once again, had to, prove, Aaron and Aaron's seed is who I've chosen to be my priests. And that's just what it is. Which, it makes sense that he did this, especially with the end of, Korah. that even the day after, the people still were thinking, like, oh, you guys have killed the righteous men of the Lord. So it makes sense. It makes sense that he did it. It just makes no sense he had to do it. You know what I mean?
Bro, that is hilarious.
It makes sense he did it. It makes no sense he had to do it, though.
Yeah.
In the first place.
No.
Yeah. What? Numbers 18?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Numbers 18 and 1. And the Lord said to Aaron, thou and thy sons and thy father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. Thou and thy sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. So he has to say it again. And thy brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of thy father, bring thou with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But thou and thy sons with thee shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. And they shall keep thy charge in the charge of all the tabernacle. Only they shall not come nigh the vessels of the sanctuary of the altar, that neither they nor ye also die. For they shall be joined unto thee, and keep the charge of the tabernacle of the congregation, for all the service of the tabernacle, and a stranger shall not come nigh unto you. And ye shall keep the charge of the sanctuary, and the charge of the altar, that there be no wrath any more upon the children of Israel. And I, behold, I have taken your brethren the Levites from among the children of Israel. To you they are given as a gift for the Lord, to do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Because that's the whole point. The Levites are supposed to be helping the priests. Therefore thou and thy sons with thee shall keep your priest's office for everything of the altar within the veil, and ye shall serve. I have given your priest's office unto you as a service of gift, and the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. The Lord spake unto Aaron, behold, I also have given thee the charge of mine heave offerings of all the hallowed things of the children of Israel. Unto thee have I given them by reason of the anointing, and to thy sons mine ordinance forever. This shall be thine of the most holy things, reserved from the fire every oblation of theirs, every meat offering of theirs, and every sin offering of theirs, and every trespass offering of theirs, which they shall render unto me, shall be most holy for thee and for thy sons. In the most holy place shalt thou eat it. Every male shall eat it, it shall be holy unto thee. And this is thine, the heave offering of their gift, with all the wave offerings of the children of Israel. And I have given them unto thee, and to thy sons, and to thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. Everyone that is clean in thy house shall eat it. All the best of the oil, and all the best of the wine, and of the wheat, the first fruits of them which they shall offer unto the Lord, them have I given thee. Whatsoever is first ripe in the land, which they shall bring unto the Lord, shall be thine. Everyone that is clean in thine house shall eat of it. Everything devoted in Israel shall be thine. Everything that openeth the matrix and all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be of men or beasts, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn of man shalt thou surely redeem, and the firstlings of unclean beasts shalt thou redeem. And those that are to be redeemed, from a month old shalt thou redeem according to thine estimation, for the money of 5 shekels after the shekel of the sanctuary, which is 20 gerah. But the firstlings of a cow, or the firstlings of a sheep, or the firstlings of a goat thou shalt not redeem. They are holy. Thou shalt sprinkle their blood upon the altar, and shalt burn their fat for an offering made by fire for a sweet savor unto the Lord. This all goes back to, remember, the firstborn, the first fruits are meant to belong to the Lord. So you either would pay money for it, or like for a person, like you had a son or daughter, the prices we saw earlier in Leviticus and some numbers too. But in the same way as an unclean animal, if it was a clean animal, like a sheep, a goat, or a cow, you would offer it. Yeah. But because remember, you can't offer unclean animals. They're unclean before the Lord. So they're not used for any of that purpose, and that's also, we don't eat them, right? But for anything that was clean, you would offer it up. 18. And the flesh of them shall be thine, and the waved breast, and as the right shoulder are thine. All the heave offerings of the holy things which the children of Israel offer unto the Lord have I given thee, and thy sons and thy daughters with thee, by a statute forever. It is a covenant of salt forever before the Lord unto thee, and to thy seed with thee, after before Aaron's seed. And the Lord spake unto Aaron, thou shalt have no inheritance in their land, neither shalt thou have any part among them. I am thy part and thine inheritance among the children of Israel. And behold, I have given the children of Levi all the tenth in Israel for an inheritance, For their service which they serve, even the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Remember, Levi and by proxy also, Aaron and his seed, they didn't get a portion of land. They just got like cities, and we'll read that and see that more. They got just certain areas throughout the land in which they would inherit, as well as just areas directly around the tabernacle while they were still moving in the wilderness. Right? But what they did have was tithes. So that's why they would pay tithes, your 10%. Same like Abraham paid to why is my mind blanking on his name? Melchizedek. My mind blanking on his name. Abraham paid to Melchizedek. That's why they paid 10% of tithes to the Levites, because they were doing the Lord's job, and the Lord was their inheritance. So you're giving it to the Lord by proxy by giving it to the Levites, so they can live and just focus all their time on doing the Lord's business, right? 22. Neither must the children of Israel henceforth come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. So they're not supposed to just be going up into the tabernacle. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of congregation, and they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance. For the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a heave offering unto the Lord, I have given to the Levites to inherit. Therefore I have said to them, among the children of Israel they shall have no inheritance. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Thus speak unto the Levites, and say unto them, When ye take of the children of Israel the tithes which I have given you from them for your inheritance, then ye shall offer up an heave offering of it for the Lord, even the 10th part of the tithe. And this your heave offering shall be reckoned unto you, as though it were the corn of the threshing floor, as the fullness of the winepress. Thus ye also shall offer an heave offering unto the Lord of all your tithes, which ye receive of the children of Israel. And ye shall give thereof the Lord's heave offering to Aaron the priest. Of all your gifts ye shall offer every heave offering of the Lord, of all the best thereof, even the hollow part thereof out of it. So even of what the Levites received, they had to offer up and give something. Therefore thou shalt say unto them, When ye have heaved the best thereof from it, then it shall be counted unto the Levites as the increase of the threshing floor, and as the increase of the winepress. And ye shall eat it in every place, ye and your households, for it is your reward for your service in the tabernacle of the congregation. And ye shall bear no sin by reason of it, when ye have heaved from it the best of it. Neither shall ye pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest ye die. Thank you.
To your point about the last chapter, it's like now he's giving out. All right, this is how this is gonna work. So there's no more or to stop the confusion. Like we seen Aaron's rod budded, but he's also just kind of giving what's up. Like Aaron and his children, like he said in this chapter, and it's said multiple times before, y'all are the priests. But he's given to Aaron and his sons. He's given the Levites, right? The Levites do the work of the tabernacle, help along them lines and things of that nature. But they're not the priests. You know what I'm saying? They're literally, it's like a woman to a man. You just, like when God made a woman, it's like you to help me. When God gave the priests, the Levites, they're literally their quote unquote help me. They're helpers, I guess you could say. And it's not nothing to be mad about. You know what I'm saying? Like even when Moses was talking to Korah, he was like, bro, like,
you didn't give it to
him. What he said? Because he said it so smooth. He was like, he said, this is back in verse 16 and 9. He said, Seemeth it but a small thing unto you that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel? Like he literally chose you from all the other tribes of Israel to bring you near to himself. So he chose you from all the other tribes, brought you to him, like you're literally working for the Lord to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. Like, so when I make the statement, they're like the priest helpers, they are, but it's not a small thing. It's not something to take lightly. Like it's a great job. It's a great responsibility to have. God handpicked you to do that. You get what I'm saying? So he kind of breaks that down in this chapter as well. Like that's what you do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were chosen by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Korah just missed that. or like just did, or maybe it just wasn't good enough for him. I don't know. Yeah, that's all you got to say about it, too.
Yeah. Well, I don't even see how the tithes work. Like us as people get the 10%, it belonged to them. That was there. Because like you were saying, they didn't have an inheritance. Like they didn't have a land, and like their time was given to the Lord.
Yeah.
So they had to have some way to.
Yeah. As it's put, like the Lord was their inheritance,
Yeah.
or doing the Lord's work was their inheritance,
Mm-hmm.
and that came with. Because the tithes were like it's going. You're giving. The tithes are like you're giving to the Lord, right? But since they are committed to my business, I'm using that to pay them essentially, or just to make sure they are living, right? Because the same way as because you can think of the inheritance as just like this is your land, and this is how from your land is where you get your food, and this is the food that you eat. And this is how you feed your cattle, the cattle that you'll sometimes kill and eat, and so on and so forth. So if they had no land, and they weren't given any spoils from like conquering the land and like the gold and silver, they didn't get any of that because they did have a slot in the inheritance, then what, they have to do all this work but they get nothing? How are they supposed to live? How are they supposed to survive? How are they supposed to feed their children and house themselves and so on and so forth? So like this is the solution.
Right.
Because I'm your inheritance, I give you. So because they still have to give aught to the Lord. Whatever they receive tithes, the best of it they had to offer up to the Lord. And for the Lord to have, right? But I'm giving you guys some of my cut because you guys are doing my work. And you guys need to be taken care of.
But you wanna I say we about to get into it some more, and then Moses messing up. You wanna call it there?
Call it with 18?
Yeah. Or you wanna read 19
Come on. Read 19.
about the heifer?
Oh yeah, talk about the heifer. And purifying themselves.
Yeah.
I think we could read 19 real quick. Just for the sake of being unclean, being clean. This is how you were cleansed, but we can't really do that.
Right. Alright, well chapter is it my turn? No,
I think
because I read 17 the short one. Alright, 19 and verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And Eleazar the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight. Her skin and her flesh and her blood with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water. And afterwards he shall come into the camp. And the priest shall be unclean until the even. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the even. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp in a clean place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin. And he that gathereth the ashes of the heifer shall wash his clothes and be unclean until even. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute forever. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days. He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purify not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord. And that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean, his uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law. When a man dieth in a tent, all that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days. And every open vessel which have no covering bound upon it is unclean. And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open fields, or a dead body, or a bone of a man, or a grave, shall be unclean 7 days. And for an unclean person, they shall take of the ashes of the burnt heifer, of purification for sin, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take a hyssop, and dip it in the water, and sprinkle it upon the tent, and upon all the vessels, and upon the persons that were there, and upon him that toucheth a bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day, and on the 7th day. And on the 7th day he shall purify himself, and wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be unclean at evening. But the man that shall be unclean, that shall not purify himself, that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation, because he hath defiled the sanctuary of the Lord. The water of separation hath not been sprinkled upon him, he is unclean. And it shall be a perpetual statute unto them, that he that sprinkleth the water of separation shall wash his clothes, and he that toucheth the water of separation shall be unclean until even. And whatsoever the unclean person toucheth shall be unclean, and the soul that toucheth it shall be unclean until even. The end.
All right. Number 19.
We got what the creation of this idol, which is the water of separation. And that was just part of the process of cleansing.
Yeah.
So, right.
Making people clean.
Mm-hmm.
And like you even seen in the book before, sometimes call it the water of purification, where it's like the same thing. But and this is also to the point why being, like I said, the purpose of being clean, unclean, it was not sin, right? But it was also the purpose of, like we even saw in the last chapter, we're keeping the tabernacle holy, right? And that's the way even ends verse Numbers 18, verse 32. Neither shall you pollute the holy things of the children of Israel, lest ye die, right? So the whole purpose is we're not trying to pollute the holy things of the Lord, his tabernacle, the things within his tabernacle, the vessels, his priests who should be there taking care of the tabernacle, most especially the high priest, who's the only one who can go beyond the veil to the Ark of the Covenant, and so on and so forth. So we can't have people just being unclean here, right? And so the purpose, we don't have a tabernacle or a temple now with holy ground and the sacred items, right? But then we also don't have priests, which you need priests and a red heifer to even make this water of purification. All to the point that like this is, not that this thing is bad or not good. It is good, but legitimately, you can't really do it in its fullness. A, because nowhere you're really going anyway, nowhere you're going is holy ground. Nowhere you're going is sanctified by the Lord. So meaning that you're not sitting in any way and you being unclean and going pretty much anywhere, both in the United States and outside of it. Because you just, there isn't the holy ground. And that's what would make it a sin, being unclean, going to the holy ground, right? And then also, to be like really fully cleansed, like how it was supposed to be in ordinance, a lot of time you need this water of purification, which you just don't have, because we don't have priests or a red heifer to make the stuff in the first place. So it's just one of those things, again, where it's just like, you do the best you can, but understand, like, if you're a woman, you're not sinning by having your period. And you're not sinning, most definitely not sinning if you're going to church while you're on your period. Because again, no church is deemed holy ground. Because again, for that, it has to be sanctified by the priest. Don't have those. There would be holy items there, which I've yet to see a church that has the Ark of the Covenant or things sanctified by the Lord again. And for all that, you need the priests to sanctify them in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone that the Lord deemed like Moses in order to do that. Have yet to meet that person either. So it's just we don't have those things. So it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, you do your best, but again, you're not sitting by, or if you're a dude, like you had sex or you ejaculated or something of that sort, or you have a running nose, or you like have phlegm, because those are all things that would make you unclean, or boils, or so on and so forth. But yeah, that's all I have to say about chapter 19.
Yeah, that was good. I'm pretty sure that hit
All right. Do you have a place you want
I
to go?
do. I
Okay.
do. I want to go to Romans 16.
Ah.
And it's, I feel like we've talked about it a lot, only for the simple fact that it is that important. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely that important. But Romans chapter 16 and verse, 17?
Mm-hmm.
What is it, 1 Timothy, where it says a heretic after the first and second? I'm pretty sure that's Timothy.
Yeah, after a heretic after the first.
And second, admonition, reject.
Admonition, reject. Yes.
All right, Romans chapter 16 and verse. But I want to read that one instead. Yeah, that one. I feel like it fits the mold better.
Okay.
What is it? 2, verse 52.
Romans 16 and 17 is also nice.
Yeah, I mean we read that as well, but I want to read this. After the first, or is it Titus? It's Titus. It's Titus, ain't it? Bro, I don't know.
I genuinely thought it was Timothy, but
it might be.
It may just be the T's.
Yeah, that's how they get you right there.
Titus 2.
All right, y'all got it. I'm gonna look it up. Do you have one?
I like Romans 16, 17, so I'll just read that. Maybe look for it. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. For your obedience is come abroad unto all men. I am glad therefore on your behalf. But yet I would have you wise into that which is good and simple concerning evil. Or simple, yeah. You had it during Paul's day, you have it now, you're always going to have it. People who will separate, people who will work to separate others from the Word of God for their own benefit. Now that could be something like personal, that could be like where I don't like that you're doing this because it inflicts with like how I want things to be done. Or it could be something monetarily, right? Where you'll have a lot of people lying on the Word of God and about what the Lord wants and who He loves and what He requires. Or even just the idea that the Lord hates things in general or people, which the book says He does, right? But all for the sake of their own benefit. Whether like that could be monetary, right? Where they're receiving donations and tithes because of it. Because like Isaiah even talks about people go to prophets like with an itching ear, hearing good things that they want to hear, right? And that much is very true. So, like all that. And like it makes it very clear they're not doing this for the sake of the Lord Jesus Christ, they're doing it for their own belly, their own desires, their own greed. Yeah, by good words and fair speech deceive the hearts of the simple. Which is why it's so important. Like, not even like me and Xavier. Don't listen to us. I mean, listen to like the Word of God. Again, Bible study is great, right? Get some daily reading in, but it's incredibly important that whoever sees this, whenever you see this, you read for yourself. That you read the Word of God, see what it says, and you apply that to your life. Because at the end of the day, let God be true and every man a liar, myself included, right? And what matters at the end of the day is what the book says, right? What the Bible says, what the Word of God says. Yeah. Did you find what you were looking for?
Yeah, it was 3 of 10. Titus 3. And this is kind of on that same path, but I'm just gonna read it. Just the one verse. A man that is an heretic after the first and second admonition reject. Point being, like, and it all stems from, what is it, 1 John 4, where it says, what is this talking about? Knowing the spirit of Christ versus the spirit of Antichrist. Like, it all starts with you knowing something. Like, you need to know God for yourself, which, to your point, is only going to happen by reading your Bible. And don't underestimate God. God is the best teacher out of all of us. You know what I'm saying? So when you spend time with God yourself in the Bible, you will begin to learn more and more and more. God will enlighten you and open your eyes. Point being, first things first, you have to know. But then, once you know, then you can spot a heretic, which I pulled up the definition. A heretic is a person who holds, teaches, or promotes beliefs, opinions, or actions that contradict God, we're going to say. Right? So, when someone is walking or contradicting God after the first or second admonition, reject. Admonition means like correction. Like you try, nah, brother, that ain't right. Let me show you why. Boom, boom, boom. You still doing it. After the second, boom, boom, boom. After that, reject. Like, and it all goes back to our loyalty. Is our loyalty to man or is our loyalty to God? Like God says, he that put mother or brother before me is not worthy of me. Like, we need to be willing to cut people off at any moment. Like, we have to be able to do that no matter who you are. And that's what the people in number 16 failed to do. Like, whether they didn't recognize that Korah was on some nonsense, or they chose to stick by him. Either way, you're wrong. Like, you should be able to recognize the Spirit of Christ. And the only way you're going to do that is by studying his word. And two, you need to be able to reject those that aren't walking with the Spirit of Christ. You feel me? So, but that's it. That's all I got.
Cool, yeah. I got nothing else. Yeah. With that, today's Bible study is done. Thank you for joining us as always. Lord, we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll continue Numbers at Numbers 20. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, we'll continue tomorrow with Numbers 20. We made good progress today. The core, we've been teasing that for a while. It's a very good example of all the things that we've read, and we'll see more examples that are basically the same thing. Yeah. But with that, we're done. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night.
Peace.